remember that I'm in love with these. Hi, we're going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. So, what'd you think?
Okay, so I haven't read much of Marvel Now's new line of stories, but I did start Guardians of the Galaxy because this guy recommended it to me, and I was not disappointed because I had just seen the movie about 2 weeks before I read it, and the movie is fantastic. We have a review video on it. You should look at it. But let me tell you, the comic book is completely different from the movie. Not completely. Same characters with the addition of Iron Man. We'll get on to that in a minute. But Star-Lord, same old Star-Lord, except he's a little less humorous, I think. And I like that about him.
Yeah.
Because Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy, he's very Han Solo-ish. And I think everybody has said that.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people have. And I agree. I think he's very Han Solo-ish. But the Star-Lord we see in this Guardians of the Galaxy, he's more, well, he's still kind of a child at heart. He's determined, and he's got some daddy issues.
He's not really a child at heart. He's kind of like immature because he's got the whole like
that's a better word.
Like he wants to bang everybody. Like, so I mean, yeah. But the characters and you know, me and Josh reviewed the movie, and we said that all the characters were humorous in the movie. And this in the new the Guardians, they're not every single one of them are humorous. They're kind of like they have their funny moments, and it's kind of like little quips here and there, but it's more or less focused on like Star-Lord's backstory. Like Volume 1 especially is focused on Star-Lord's Star-Lord's backstory, and they have a nice little like tie-in issues where they have Gamora's backstory and Rocket. So if you don't know who the Guardians of the Galaxy are, at least the Dan Abnett, I can't say his name right, the Dan Abnett, Andy Laming version. Yep. It's a great introduction. And I feel like the comic, like they gave it to the right person. They handed it off to Brian Michael Bendis, my man from Marvel.
Great. His new Avengers series is fantastic, from what I've heard. But yeah, this is a completely different spin on the origin of Peter Quill in this one is actually completely different from what we saw in the movie.
Right.
Well, there are some similarities, but there's a lot bigger differences. For instance, we actually meet his father, and we learn that Star-Lord's father has now been... Well, he comes to Earth, he crashes into Earth in this massive spaceship. Well, I won't say massive, but it looks just like an X-Wing. And when I see X-Wing, I think of Star Wars, and I'm like, it's very Star Wars-ish.
Yeah.
He crashes into Earth, and he meets this girl. They connect. They find some chemistry. They're sitting by a fireplace, and then
they get busy!
And then Peter comes along. And sure enough, right as his mother finds out that she's pregnant with Peter, his dad has to return to Spartax?
Yeah, Spartax.
Spartax, the home planet.
He is Jason, son of Spartax, the prince, the Star-Lord at this time period. And they're at war with these aliens called the Badoon. And these evil aliens are like, I don't know, they're like reptile people. They're like the lizard.
They're like lizards.
And they come down and they're like, where's Jason? And then they like go ahead and like do Cancer's job for it in the comic book, and they just shoot Peter's mom.
Yeah, just straight. You see, go straight through her chest. She falls down.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden they're chasing Peter through the house, and he finds his dad's weapon. He finds his dad's weapon because his dad let his mom keep the weapon that he came with.
And he's like, "Here's a token of my love. Remember me."
And she's like, "Oh, how romantic."
And she's like, "You're leaving me. You're not even paying child support. How romantic." And then, of course, you know, they go to a court of law. Maury happens, and you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the background, right? This isn't from Volume 1. This is from a later volume. It's like... So Iron Man's in Volume 1, and it's kind of weird because Iron Man's like, they threw it in, they shoehorned it in there.
He's just there.
He's just there like, oh, hey, space ladies, I want to, you know. But
it's Tony Stark. I mean, it is straight up Tony Stark.
Yeah, it's just...
And I'm like, this is awesome. Iron Man is with the Avengers. He is, the Cosmic Avengers, sorry. He's with the Avengers, and now he's with the Cosmic Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. He's with a completely different team. I'm like, he is going to be their brain. He's going to be their leader. No.
No, he's like there. He shows up for like 5 seconds, and then it's just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going back to the Avengers in Volume 2. Yeah. This little image right here. It's from the newer Guardians, and it's got the movie Guardians, of course. If you watch my and Josh's review, we talk about the movie.
This
Guardians.
is Star-Lord.
Yeah, Star-Lord looks different and stuff. And down the corner here, I don't know if you can see her real well, but that's Captain Marvel. She's like the new Captain Marvel. And then this is Agent Venom, and they were like, oh, these two are kind of aliens. Let's put them in there and have an interesting dynamic with them. And they're gonna do cool stories with them. But we're talking about Volume 1 right now, and Volume 1, I felt like Groot is really underutilized in Volume 1. He's very... Rocket's very utilized, and Star-Lord's very utilized, and Gamora and Drax and all these people are, except for Iron Man, of course...
No purpose.
No purpose, and Groot just kind of gets blown up.
Yeah. And but Rocket collects him, you know. It's actually very similar to the end of the Guardians movie, because Groot and Rocket are like this. I mean, they always have been.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know, always.
Yeah, they have been. Okay. They have a little comic going on.
That's their tag team.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bandoon invade this little sector that they're in, or their spaceship. And sure enough, Rocket and Groot team up to this crazy thing where Rocket blows a hole into the ship, and then Groot just like jumps in. It just is a path of destruction. And from what you remember in the Guardians movie, Groot is just like an unstoppable force.
Groot's the powerhouse of the team. He's definitely the Hulk, the Thor.
But you didn't see that much in this.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah. You didn't really. Yeah, they kind of underutilized him. He got blown up, and he takes forever to regenerate, and like so. Anyway, the Badoon come to Earth. Okay, well, yeah. The Galactic Council, the Trade Federation,
that Jason.
Son of Spartax.
Yeah.
Son of Spartax. Creates like this galactic council with other characters like Gladiator from the Shi'ar and Supreme Intelligence from the Kree, and like all these really big Freya's in there. Freya, the All-Mother, Thor's mom, and they're talking about, okay, what should we do? And they're like, well, let's just go ahead and say Earth's off limits. And the Guardians take offense to that because they say if you tell a child they can't have a toy, then they'll want that toy more. So they're gonna
So sure enough, here they come.
So the Badoon go to Earth and they go to London
and guess who has to stop them?
The Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
And Iron Man for some reason.
Yeah.
We don't know why.
No.
Yeah, he's just kind of there. Cosmic Avengers, I guess. But so they go down there and there's a cool little fight scene that happens where Drax, is in a ship and they all save each other. And that's one thing I really like about the Guardians is fantastic dialogue. I love Brian Michael Bendis. He's a fantastic writer. He does great on the Ultimate Spider-Man. He does great on he used to do great on the Avengers, and I really like the new X-Men series that he has. And Brian Michael Bendis, like, I love the scene where, Rocket just comes down and Rocket's got a catchphrase in this. What's Rocket's catchphrase in this? It's "Blam murdered you."
Well, he says that. He says "Blam murdered you." Then he says like "Kapow" or "Balam" or "Baloom" when he's like.
It's just a bunch of comic book noises. It's just like "murdered you," and it's awesome. They're making fun of the whole comic book medium, like Avengers Assemble and like other stuff like that. And
that's what makes it great. That's what makes it really good. It makes it different because the Guardians of the Galaxy, they are just like. They're completely different. I mean, look at their team. They have a brute for a tree for a brute, and then you've got this little wild card dude who's just a little raccoon with weaponry, and Star-Lord, who I think is kind of like he's a young Iron Man. I kind of see similar.
He's kind of like I feel like Star-Lord is to Guardians as Captain America is to the Avengers because he's kind of like the leader. But I feel like he's got a mixture of Captain America, like I want to protect Earth, but then also he's got the whole little mixture of Iron Man in there, and it's kind of crazy that those two kind of conflicting forces are really cool at work. And Gamora's pretty good in this too. Gamora's just like they don't really. I really like this volume because they don't really fight Thanos a lot. That's
Well, you hear mention about Star-Lord fighting Thanos.
Yeah, they were talking about them fighting Thanos, and they're just kind of like, thank God they didn't have the Infinity Gauntlet again, and then which ties into Infinity later on, But it's a great volume. It's a great read, and I feel like they gave it to the right hands. I feel like if they would have gave it to like Jeff Loeb,
Well, Jeff Loeb has some good stuff. I have some Jeff Loeb stuff. He's not bad.
Have you read Nova?
No, I haven't.
Nova's okay. Like that's supposed to be like his best work, but okay. But yeah, they gave it to the right writer. They gave they really cared about these characters, and they they didn't really care if the film succeeded or not. They were stuck with these characters, and they were like, you know what, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it right. And I feel like they handled it really well. Action's great, humor's great, the dialogue. I love the dialogue in the book, and it's just an all-around fun read, and they have some really interesting stuff later on. I've read the later on stuff. I've read Volume 2 and the Trial of Jean Grey and stuff like that. And if you're interested, and if you pick up the first volume, which I recommend, do you recommend picking up the first volume?
Yeah.
Is it worth you think it's worth the cover price?
It's worth cover price, retail price. Just
it's
if you see it, grab it.
Yeah, definitely pick it up. But if you want that and you want more of that, Volume 2 is really good. It has Angela, the introduction of Angela in the Marvel Universe. She was a Spawn character. And then Volume 3, or the Trial of Jean Grey, is really interesting too. It takes two of Brian Michael Bendis' things and puts them together, and they're doing really interesting stuff. So I definitely recommend picking it up and starting it, and then continuing on with it, because they got Agent Venom and Captain Marvel coming.
Well, if you pick up the first volume, you're gonna have to pick up the rest because you won't want to stop.
You won't want to stop. It's so addicting. It's so good. And I like it better. It's part of the Avengers line of books, but I really like it because it's different than the Avengers. They're not too powerful. Right. They're, like we said in the Aquaman review, not too powerful, but still powerful enough. And it's just really interesting because these characters, I feel like they're going to flesh them out more. We're going to get more of Rocket's backstory.
I hope.
We're going to get, we got some of Groot's backstory in this, and Drax the Destroyer is just tearing up stuff like always, and it's great. It's a fun read.
It's great what how they timed this perfectly, because the Guardians movie was just now released, and now that, the Guardians movie is out and about, and it's made I think 500, maybe right at 400 million. And now they've got all these Guardians books out, and people are going to know that, well, they based this off a comic book. I want to see what the comic book's about. I want to see the parallel. So what Marvel's doing is it's fantastic. They're spreading their brand in the best ways possible. I mean, they had to earn their trust with this Guardians of the Galaxy film that came out. Nobody knew what to expect. You could say it had high expectations. Is another Marvel film. And all of the previous Marvel films, with some exceptions, were fantastic. But this Guardians, it definitely proved to be. It
proved that the weird and they have a little the weird and the cosmic and stuff can have a playing field in Marvel's universe, and it's a really nice book, and I think everyone should just go pick it up and definitely give it a try. And if you don't want to buy the Volume 1, which I recommend buying it. Just buy the single issues. So, you have anything else to say about?
Thanks for watching.
Tickle that subscribe button, and we'll see you later on the Nerd Corner.